KWT slaying.
Shabbat Shalom, family. Shabbat Shalom. So the reason why I'm doing this show, how should we flee? Because I had a few questions, mainly from some of our sisters out there. Some of them don't have a husband, some of them are single, some of them old, some don't have money, and most of us, we don't have money, right? So I'm gonna give you my viewpoint on some things, and I put the link in the chat. So if y'all want to come and discuss this, we can. Okay. So for me, I'm showing the signs. I'm showing what the Bible says. Right now, how you interpret that is on you. Right. So let me give you context. All right. So y'all know I'm from New Orleans, right? Now, you had those in New Orleans during 2005 with Katrina. You had those who stayed, those who say, well, I'm going to just trust God, I'm going to pray, or whatever, that's good. But you notice some people were swimming, right? Some people died, right? Their houses got flooded, right? Our houses got destroyed, right? The prudent person made preparations, right? The prudent person made preparations and had plans. If you didn't have plans, you might have got stuck in a FEMA truck. Now, the Most High had it where I was in Dallas during the time of Katrina, and I had every single one of my family with me, right? Now, I enjoyed having a presence. It was good. But if you were there during Katrina, and those of you who were stuck in a situation, whether it be Katrina or, like that Ian hurricane or whatever hurricanes, right? And you weren't prepared, and let's say your house got flooded or whatever, what did you do? You say, well, I had faith, right? But did you make preparation? See, when Abraham was told to leave, Abraham made preparation. Abraham didn't just get up and leave. Abraham had some cattle. Abraham had some food. Abraham, he didn't know where he was going, but he had some preparation. See, that this is where it comes with, the scriptures tell you to be like the ants, right? The summer comes and all that stuff. The ants make preparation. So, like for me, my plan is, just for those who want to know, is to make preparation. Now, what those preparations are going to specifically entail, I don't know. I'm walking, right? I'm walking. Father Yah told Abraham to go. He walked. He knew where he was going. I'm walking. I know I'm supposed to leave. I was told to flee. Right now, I don't care what you all interpret that to be, what fleeing mean. I know what fleeing means to me. Okay. In some translations, you're going to see go and be a refugee. That's in some translations. So to me, I know what flee means. So if Father Yah told me to flee, then I need to make preparations to flee. So my thought is that I'm going to get my passports ready, if we have enough time, I'm gonna get my passport ready. And my brother and I, and hopefully my son and his son, if we work all that out, go out to Africa and find out where we want to be. So I'm going to connect up with the Dry Bones Project in Tanzania, right? I'm gonna hook up with them. I'm gonna make plans to meet with them. I'm gonna discuss with them where they think the family should go when we flee. What how is Tanzania, right? This is part of preparation. Now, I might even talk to some of the brothers I don't necessarily get along with over there in South Africa. I might talk to some of them and say, hey, what y'all think of South Africa? What it's like out there? Where can the family go if they flee, right? What I'm saying is you have to have a plan. I'm not going to be caught without a plan because sometimes the situation that you find yourself in is your fault, right? You knew it was coming. You knew it was about to rain, but you didn't bring your raincoat. You didn't bring your rain boots, but you knew it was going to rain, but you ain't make no preparation. See, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. So the thing is this. You don't have to think in terms of, I don't have money right now. I can't make it right now. Plan. Maybe you could scrape up some cash. You can go to Africa, visit a few countries. We're probably going to visit 2 of them, maybe 3 at the most. Probably be out there to 3 to 4 weeks max. Figure out where we're going to go, what areas we like. Can we afford it? Do we like the people? Do we like the government? Stuff like that. Because here's the thing. The Most High told us to keep Zion in mind when we leave. We don't really know where Zion is. I think I do. I told you I think it's over there in Ethiopia, but I don't feel led to go to Ethiopia. Don't mean I won't visit. I really do want to visit. And hopefully, we can do that because I want to visit. I want to go to Tanzania, South Africa, and maybe I could go and visit Ethiopia if I have enough time. Because, I do believe that's where the true Jerusalem is. I want to see for myself while I'm there. So I'm going to make plans to go hopefully sometime in the first half of 2023. That's my plans. I don't think you have to be vaxxed to get there. If it is, that's out of the question. Right? I know for Tanzania you don't. I'm not going to Ghana because I don't want to go to Ghana. But see, that's part of it, right? I need to do research. I need to find out, do you need to be vaxxed to go to South Africa? I know for Tanzania you don't. I know for Ethiopia you don't. So if it is, then that's off the list. But I don't think so because there's some Israelites over in South Africa right now. So I don't think you have to be vaxxed to go to South Africa. I got to do research. So that's what I'm talking about. That's what this is about. Yeah, some people going to Ghana. I'm just not feeling Ghana. I'm like, I don't know. That's just me. Maybe because it's too hot. I don't like heat. Right? I need some moderate weather, moderate to cold. That's just me. Yeah, and definitely the Ghana president. I'm not feeling him because he definitely got the handshake. He part of that Commonwealth. I'm not feeling that. I'm not saying he a bad guy, but I mean, maybe that's how he survived and built his country. But I'm not feeling Ghana. Especially the way they handled that whole situation 2 years ago. I didn't like it. So what I'm going to do is make preparation. So here's the thing. Whatever I find out, I'll let you know. Okay? Because y'all know I'm going to give you this straight up. What is that in hold on. What is that? Let's see. What's up, brother Don P? How you doing, my brother? How's it going?
What's
Can't
up,
hear you.
brother Don P? How you doing, my brother?
Hey, I'm good, my brother. I'm trying to let me get my. Hey, I'm good, my brother. Let me get my Bluetooth in place. I take my monitor off stage, but I need to get my Bluetooth in place so you can hear me and I can hear you accurately. I know you can hear me, but I can't hear you. There's something going on with my iPhone speaker. So let me get my Bluetooth back in place, and I'm gonna jump back on.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Because for you to come on twice a day, I'm gonna tell you something, bro. You're scaring me.
I don't mean to do that, brother.
And it's not you. It's not you. Don't ever let people get it twisted that Yacoba's scaring people. Because see, that's the same thing they said about Deborah and Watchmen. They scaring people. No, they're not scaring people. They're showing you what's going on. Your ass is getting scared because they pointed it out in the word. And now you trembling.
That's it.
So let me do my thing. I'm gonna get back with you. Where's brother man? Where's the brother? Where's
Tell you?
Get him on here because this is
I
real.
tried.
This is all hands on deck for
I
real.
know
You done got your butt on live twice today. You're scaring us, bro.
I know. I
you
got
scaring us like Watchmen on the wall, bro. Quit playing with us. I'm gonna be back in a minute.
All right, brother. What's up, brother? Karis, how's it going?
Shalom, Minister Yacoba, because just as Brother Don P has said, I said, I was about to take my behind the bed, but there are firecrackers and everything going off outside. I saw the notification, and then I just got through listening to Truth Unedited with Brother Ron, and he was talking about the second Exodus tonight. So a lot of folks, he was starting to build towards that, and you could tell when he was talking about the promises that are still there and what was going on. Oh, he broke it down. So when I was listening to that, and then I got the notification, I said, "Wow!" I said, "This is this is very interesting." But I kind of listened to the introduction. The great thing about a lot of this is that understanding. It's interesting because we've never been in a position before where it's like you get the heads up that you're going to be a refugee, right? You get the heads up that people are going to leave en masse, you know. And see, I live in an area where there's a lot of refugees around here. You know, I'm in an area where there's Ukrainians that are by me, a lot of Arab folks that are by me, and you know, when they do come over, you know, they get grants. A lot of people don't understand that they get grants. You know, so that's going to be a little bit different with us because when we leave, it's not going to be the fact that everybody's going to get everything together. So I think to be quite honest, you have to kind of have that the level set right, the expectations. It's really going to be, you know, it's time to bounce, get your bag, get whatever you have. You know, I try to always do an exercise. If I have 30 seconds to leave, what do I need to grab? Well, there's my little bag and everything else, my wallet, and then go from there. So some simple things you could do right now, just get a birth certificate, get your birth certificates ready. You can get that from any of your Department of Vital Health and Statistics in your states. You can get it done within about I would say a week for most places, depending on how much money you want to pay to get those expedited, right? So you're probably looking at about less than 50, per, if you want to get it expedited, ship next day, all that other good stuff. Passports are going to be a little different. Passports, you can get it expedited, but you have to go through, the postal service and other places, and you have to pay a little bit of extra money to get the service done. But that usually can be about 2 to 3 weeks. But you also have to be able to, state, what countries you're going to go to, and what yada yada yada. So they can do that as long as you have the funds available with that. I don't think I don't think you have to require like an airplane ticket or anything else like that. But one of the things I would be aware of is any type of visas and to that nature for any countries, especially in a non displaced format. So there's different things, especially when you're dealing with like the UN. I think they call it like the HCR, the health, the humanitarian, refugee folks. You can actually look this on up. They have it. You can Google it and get a couple of the fine points, right? If your nation or your government has been declared, disastrous or falling apart or yada yada yada, right? A lot of the times is, as long as you really have like an ID or driver's license, or any type of and even a school photo, right? um, they would honor that because that's some sort of, you're letting something be known about you, right? For documents. Passports are just good because the passports, if you're leisurely traveling, it just gives you more leeway when you're, going through the gateways of going into other countries and things of that nature. However, it's not necessarily, a defined requirement. But in the case of being a refugee, if you're trying to get out, by hook or by crook, what will actually happen is that, yeah, thank you, NY Zeke. Yeah, passport is 130, and the expected cost is additional $60. Processing is 7 to 10 um, weeks. Yeah, they can cut it down depending on the seasons, depending on how things are going.
So
Which
let me
is,
ask you a question,
mhm.
if you don't mind, Brother Karras. I mean, you can finish up what you were saying. I just have a question. You was finished what you were saying?
No, go ahead. Go with the question.
And Brother Oral, you could come back. My question is this. So a lot of people say, well, God's going to gather us, right? And my whole thing is this, right? Gathering, what does that even look like, right? Because the second Exodus isn't going to be like the first, right? Because they had Moses, they were led out as a group of people out of Egypt, one nation. But now what we have is the disperse amongst the nations, right? Everybody can't leave at the same time, obviously, right? There's how many
Mhm.
millions we have? 40 something million supposedly Negroes in the US, but I know it's more than that. Let's talk about the Negroes around the world that has to return. What does that gathering look like? Because here's the thing I see, and granted, I don't know how it's going to really play out, but we do know the Bible obviously tells us to flee, right? How does that work out? What does that look like? Because in my mind, fleeing takes a personal choice, because the Most High said flee so these plagues don't come on you, because it's coming on this nation. So there's some level of will that you have to do and know when to go, right? So my question is, for those who are, not prepared, because, if I understand correctly, you lived in Florida for how long, Brother Karras?
Uh, oh yeah, 15 years. 15
Okay, so
years. Yeah.
during that time, you've experienced a bunch of hurricanes and all that stuff, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, in some of those times, you had to flee, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So just think if, like I was saying for Katrina, right? During those times of the hurricane, if you weren't prepared, you could have easily got caught up in it. Now, I know a lot of people who said, I got faith. And they stayed in, yeah, they survived, but guess what? They were stuck in the Superdome. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So it's like, what do you want to deal with? Because to me, it's not a lack of faith if the Most High told you to do it. He told Abraham to leave. He told us to flee. I'm like, I don't see the difference. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I certainly agree with with the trajectory, because you're right. If you have the means and the ability to go, you know, you go. Okay, the early bird kind of gets the worm, in terms of how this thing happens, and there are going to be those that will be, financially viable to be able to leave, and there are going to be those that will not be as financially viable. But I'm going to tell you this: when you are faced with the real existential crisis, where you don't have any type of electricity, you don't have potable drinking water, you don't have a food source, because your food sources will definitely be impacted if you don't have anything to cook it on, right? If you don't have anywhere to store things, then what generally people will do is, let's scrounge up what we can and let's get on the first flight out of here. And you see that happening with what? With Cuba, right? You see that happening with Haiti. It's a cheaper flight to, fly up on out of here to South America, and I'll just make the walk, and I think that we'll probably be doing that if you have, at least if you have about two or $3,000 in your bank account, you could probably get a pretty decent cheap flight. Nothing with all the bells and whistles, but it'll be something to get you on an airplane and get you on out to wherever you need to go to. And a lot of people will say, look, I want the cheapest place that I can find just to settle. And that's what happens, and I just need a couple of dollars to exchange and make a few phone calls to Tanzania, right? Send a few
Yep.
emails, and these are the most practical things that we can do. But I would also say that, in a lot of these things, when you do have a particular, like a failure of government type of situation, right? You will have the UN or some sort of a, regional body that's there to provide some sort of like the Red Cross, ICRC, type of services, right? And so I would say that kind of like right now is the time that if you don't have like any type of information for stepping stones to home, for journey with us, or up T3 and me, or other folks that are there with the Dry Bone Project, you may want to just jot down an email, right? We don't look at, we kind of look at that information as like, well, it's really not that big of a deal. I would say no, this is a little bit more pressing. So even on my channel, it's like, look, support the Dry Bones Project. You may not have to give anything, but look at the Dry Bones Project. Get an email, right? Write down an email to say, hey, I just want to, say hi for future references, because you don't know. This is actually what happens when folks flee. When people flee, they flee to someone that's there. And you want to know what they all do? They may not even be bloodline. They may not even be related. They'll just say, yeah, it's a family member. Well, how do you know? Because they don't know. Records are in shambles. You get what I'm saying? In
Yeah.
some countries, you come from Syria. Oh, yeah, that's my cousin right there. Oh, okay. And they'll be saying in their native language, oh, yeah, just go at the story. I told you my cousin. Well, you're kind of like my cousin anyway. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
you get that, but that's where this is how things build on, and then that's how the linkage system goes when you're dealing with refugees and displaced persons and those type of crisis, right? And then from there, when you get a bigger contingent, then the biggest thing is, okay, now how do we rescue others? How do we pull others? You know,
See, that's
who?
the point right there, right? How do we rescue others, right? Because I'm starting to see now, even more clearly, that stepping stones to home, T3ME, journey with us, all of that, they're there because we need this, right? We need information,
Mhm.
we need direction, right? And right here it says he spoke directly to Abraham when he told him to leave, whereas you are interpreting scripture. Yes, I'm interpreting scripture. I'm talking about me. I'm not talking about you, right? I'm talking about what I'm going to do. And so I'm giving clarity to those who need information so they can make a decision on what they're going to do when Katrina happens. You know what I'm saying? Brother Oral, you was waiting, and then we're going to go to Doug and back to Don P and everybody. So, Brother Oral.
Yes. How you doing again, Brother Yakoba?
How you doing, Brother Oral?
I'm doing all right. It was good chatting with you the other day, man. We had a great conversation, by the way. I
Yeah,
really
it was good
enjoyed
talking
that.
to you.
Yeah. Now, I'm like the other brother, Don P here. The fact that you came on twice in one day, I mean, it is pressing. And for me, it's fair, but at the same time, it's us needing to take the proper precaution, because if the Most High is instilling upon you to come on again to tell us about this, we need to take the precaution. I'm fortunate where I do have a passport, but I went a step further, and I recommend for everyone to do this. If you have the means to get a passport and a passport card, because that's what I've done. Now, the only problem is now my kids, I need to get all that stuff for them, because I had my passport now for about 2 years. I have to get them going. I also I've been blessed. When I used to live in New York, I know a lot of Africans, and for me, those people are some of the kindest people. I mean, I know some people might have bad experience with Africans, but I'm talking about people from Nigeria to Ghana to Uganda. I went camping with some Ugandans this weekend, and these people are the kindest people on the planet. So what I'm going to do is I do know some people, so I'm going to start making connections with the people that I know, and start moving in that direction. But the fact that you came on twice, it's really something that's telling me that, I need to get my house in order. So thank you for that.
All right. So I'm going to comment on this and then get Brother Doug. You of little faith, flee doctrine. You sound like skin doctrine to me, right? You ought to go over there on Berean channel. Because here's the thing. When it comes to flee doctrine, I'm not telling you to do anything, right? See, that's what y'all don't get it. I'm not telling you to do anything. I'm trying to help you make wise decisions. You don't have to flee. All I'm saying is I'm making preparations to flee, which is the difference. I think it's very foolish, and especially those of you who've never been through floods. I've been in many floods in New Orleans, right? Many times my family ran away from the hurricanes, right? If you've been in those situations, you know why it is prudent to be prepared and prudent to know when to flee. If you want to stay here and don't be prepared, you have that right. You have that decision. Just like all those people who stayed in New Orleans during Katrina. I know a few people who died in that water. I know a few people who were doing the backstroke. Okay. I'm just saying, you do you. I'm going to do me. I'm just making preparations. And you say it's a lack of faith with the flee doctrine? No, because the Bible tells us to flee. That sounds like faith to me. That sounds like belief to me. That sounds like trusting in the words of the Most High to me. I'm just saying, Brother Doug.
Well, you got him before I could. I was going to go. Can you hear me? Is everybody got me?
I hear you. You sound good.
Okay. So I was reading the comments too, and you intrigued me as well, Brother Yakoba, being on twice in one day. I have to agree with Oral. That shocked me, and I just came on. But so I'm gonna give you what I think is a balanced opinion here. First, if you have the means to get out of this country, why are you here? That's first. I will tell you that without a doubt. If you have a passport and you have a plan and you have sustenance and you have the ability and you are Negro, follow the instructions of the Most High God and get out. That's not flee doctrine. I read that as well. Because on the flip side of that advice is, if you don't have the means to get out and you don't have a passport and you don't have the money, you don't have it, all you need to do then is rely on the Most High to provide what will be needed at the right time, always. And that is it. You don't have to panic either, or you don't have to panic against or for. You can simply do what you are able to do. And if you do that, if you move in the direction of the kingdom in any capacity, the kingdom will move in your direction. So if you can't leave, relax. You're still leaving. If you got a passport, we'll see you when we get there.
That's it.
But flee doctrine, I've been listening to this man for quite a while, and he has been consistent in every respect, and I will not tolerate a single individual claiming he's talking about free. Don't intimate this man's a coward, lest you want me somewhere. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and leave him alone. You go, your show. I'm gonna leave him alone.
I appreciate it, Brother Doug. All right. Brother Don P.
Brother Doug. You know I'm laughing, you Cole. Because it's real and it's serious.
Yeah.
Man, see,
Look at that. Look at that right quick, Brother Don P. Look at that right there. Where? On the screen.
Where I'm looking at?
It says America is the promised land. Let tethers flee. He said America the promised land.
You know what? Somebody else said, because Don P ain't got time to play with foolishness.
Yeah.
So I run on the YouTube streets with people that are serious. That's how I found Brother Jacob and Teo. That's how I found. Because I only deal with people that are serious. I don't have time for foolishness. Twerk your ass up out of my life. Okay? I'm going to tell you straight up. I made the cut last night. I don't mess with Tariq Nasheem. I don't mess with that chick from ADOS. I don't mess with none of them folks. Because their doctrine comes back to a lie.
Yep.
I don't know where they went off the rails. Because Tariq Nasheed, I came into understanding about him, about hidden colors. And I have it on my stuff. But the deal is this, bruh, when I look back, you done turned against most of the people that put you on the map. And then my other thing is this, listen, we just need to do people's backgrounds and histories and understand some things. The opposition runs deep. And that brings us into maybe a place where, I don't know if you want to go there, you go or not. But we have a lot of distractions and some stuff that it tastes good. But when it gets into your belly, it's bitter and it's disturbing. Some people are saying certain things, but you have to understand what paid opposition looks like. You got to understand what COINTEL looks like.
Exactly.
I'm old enough. I'm 58 years old. See, I don't have problems saying my name. More women be like, I can't get it. No, sister, say your age and what you've been through. I've been through all the bull crap. Okay? Starting from desegregation and that house of fire that Martin ran us into. That he was like, oh shit, I ran y'all into a house of fire. And then as soon as he said that, game over. We have to understand who we're dealing with, folks. This is no game. My I don't know where he's at on the continuum. I would say my brother, my nephew, Jacob and his brother, y'all ain't getting no truth
from nobody else except for who they pay homage to. And that's the uncles too. Somebody mentioned Brother Phil. Somebody mentioned Watchmen. Watchmen, that's on to the nation and the sister. We got to start paying homage to who we supposed to pay homage to, and get up out of the foolishness, because the time is short. And these folks' agenda is to distract you with the world so that you miss the ark that Noach, Yahushua HaMashiach, created. It was only a selected few that was allowed on board. The obedient animals, the sons and their wives, and his wife. Y'all gonna understand, the Most High doesn't play. He said what he said. Oh, that's a t-shirt that's coming out on our line.
Okay, good.
I said what I said. Okay. And that's from the Goat Mouth Speaks Truth brand. The goat mouth. You know, the goat. Sometimes the goat speaks truth. So I said what I said. He's not playing, y'all. We are not. Games are over. And that was the point about the comment about Noach. Because even as it was in the days of Noach, I'm the only one in my family. My grandmother had 32 children. Imagine how many children and great-grandchildren exist in my family. I'm the only one. Some of mine, and I told them, y'all are right at the edge. I can't remember the scripture, but it's just like, you are right at the point of being saved. Saved from what, Don P? Saved from the delusion, the grand delusion spoken of in the Sefer of Christianity and this Roman Catholicism y'all live in, and this idolism that you live in. This is real. We don't have time for putting people on our lap and pampering them and shaking our knee and, making them feel good. We don't have time for that. And back to, why are you on here a second time today? You scared me the first time. No. That was rhetorical. That was rhetorical.
I know
you scared me the first time. You scared me the first time. You know why? Because I had to look at scripture. Because I had to, the scripture that I know is gonna. I'm gonna shut up in a minute. But I'm just trying to pull the point in the force before you come back in and go, this is what I did. Because no, all of the brothers, and these brothers are for real brothers. I made that comment, and they're like, you know what? Yep. Because the deal is this. You jolted it, you jolted in our spirit the scripture that's already in our spirit that we know. And that's the scary thing. Because we're recognizing the signs of the time. Hamashiach said, y'all don't even recognize, y'all can do this, y'all can do that, but y'all don't recognize the signs of the time. And even worse, he said later, you didn't recognize the time of your visitation. And that goes to 8070, and I'm going to land my plane there and let you take your program, brother.
All right. So I'm going to make a quick comment, and I'm going to go to Brother Keith. So, in the scriptures, Yeshua said, when you see Jerusalem surrounded, flee to the mountains. Okay. Y'all think God don't tell you to flee. Now, according to Josephus, if any of y'all believe in the historical accuracy of Josephus, Josephus stated that there was a lot of people who did not adhere to the command to flee, because a lot of false prophets came and said, God is not going to destroy this place because the temple here. but Yeshua told him to flee. I'm showing you where the scripture says flee. Now, what you do, that's on you. I'm not telling you to do a thing. I'm showing you the signs. It's between you and the Most High what you do. But understand that those, according to Josephus, who didn't flee, got killed by Rome. I'm just saying, Brother Keith.
Brother Yakoba, hello, sir. Thank you for having me on. And thank you for coming on for, as others have said, a second time. So before I say what I'm about to say, Doug Rice, thank you for going in for Brother Yakoba, for defending a chief in Israel. We are a people historically. It's in our DNA. We don't have democracies. We have chiefs. And he's a chief in Israel, and we need to defend our chiefs, not put up with like garbage and people talking smack about our chiefs. So that's good. I'm glad you went in. Thank you for doing that.
I agree with you 100%.
Yeah. Look, when it comes to like politics, look at the Trump supporters. They go in for Trump, man. They love their chief. And, I respect that devotion to a chief. Honestly, that's how it's supposed to be. When you study scripture, we're not supposed to even talk bad about our chiefs, about our sovereigns is how, the word describes it. So, yeah, that's good. Thank you for doing that. I hope more of Israel will start doing that and stop.
Hello.
No, it wasn't me. I didn't cut him off. I'm just kidding.
Oh,
Brother Keith.
yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you now.
Okay. So as far as the so-called flea doctrine is concerned, man, it's not a flea doctrine. The way they say it is as if, you're some kind of punk for teaching it. That's not the case at all. As you just mentioned, when before 70 AD, the Messiah warned us. He said, "Flee to the mountains." Some people would, said, and and some people now would say, "Well, Yahuwah's going to be with us."
He went silent again.
Oh, okay. Some people would say that that Yahuwah would protect us, just like he did in the Bible. We don't have anything to worry about. He's going to fight for us like he did for our ancestors back in the day, in Egypt. When he says flee, you flee. Yep. He says that for a reason. His plan is not to do like he did for us in Egypt. He has a different plan. When 70 AD rolled around, his plan wasn't to do the same thing he did in Egypt. He had a different plan. When Messiah said flee, those who did, listen to him and actually fled survived. And those who did it, they either died or they had a really hard time. They barely made it out alive. And they probably lost some loved ones in the process. So they people love these names and they love to try and ridicule people. I guess they want to feel like they're tough by belittling someone else and making it seem as if someone else is afraid. It's not being afraid, it's being smart. It's actually listening to what our king had to say. So it's not a matter of being afraid. As a matter of fact, pertaining to this issue, the Most High placed it onto my heart to reread Jeremiah chapters 50 and 51. I read some more too, but particularly those. And guess what the Most High said in those scriptures? And I'm not going to read them, because I don't want to take up too much time, but in chapter 50, verse 8, 28, verses 8 and 28, again, Jeremiah chapter 50, verses 8 and 28, you see the words flee, 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 flee Babylon. In chapter 51, verse 6, he said flee. So when the Most High says flee, you flee. It's not a matter of being afraid. It's about listening and saving your.
You went silent again, Brother Keith.
Okay, okay. I see
Okay,
what's
I hear you
happening.
now.
Technology. Okay, thank you for that. It's a matter of listening. Now, when it comes to fleeing, now when you look at the reality of the circumstances, not everyone will be able to flee. That's just the reality. I'm just going to be frank about it. In the scripture tells us this, and we don't. Well, of course we rely on scripture, but we also know this through life experience. But the world doesn't love us, so some people will be able to flee. And I have a few thoughts about that. Some people won't be able to, because you won't be able to go to Mexico. You won't be able to go to Canada. And to be honest with you, for some people, if you don't get out beforehand, it's going to be hard to flee anywhere, because even in the land, sometimes people are not always so welcoming. You know, just because you look the same doesn't mean that they're always going to welcome you. There has to be a plan and a network. But so some people will have to stay, and if you have to stay, the scripture says to flee, and he says why? Because there's a lot of bad things that are going to happen. But if you have to stay, which a lot of
You went silent. Okay.
Hey, Yakoba.
Yeah.
He was hitting on some points. The teaching, I'm trying to remember if it was a teaching that you guys did or if it was K Judah. And it talked about, it was a revision. Oh no, I think it was K Judah. The revision of the 2300 days and pointing to the signs of the time, because that's where we really need to be. We really need to be looking at what Yahusha said were going to be the signs of the time before the seals get opened and the bowls and the vials. And we really have to understand where we are, because when the invitation, I'm going to call it an invitation, to flee to the wilderness is offered, I really think that, there's going to be division made there. Because some are going to choose to stay in Babylon. And some are saying, oh, I see the ticket, I'm up out of here. And so y'all need, I say y'all need, like you can do anything. As the Ruach HaKodesh gives you guys utterance, because it's apparent that you hold a position in the kingdom, that y'all, disperse that willingly and without reservation, because this world is cruel. But I know by you and your brother's armor y'all wear, y'all don't really care about what this world says. You're going to speak the truth to your people in love, regardless of how it's received. And I know that to be true. And that's the only reason I'm here, man. I don't roll with nobody else, except for people that have your whole disposition and character. You love the Most High. You love his people. And for y'all that don't really understand, the love of his people is a sign that you're in the way, okay? That you're of the protege of Hamashiach. Y'all, yep, man, I need to shut up because I'm about to start crying. Thank you, brothers. And I'm going to hang out, but I just thank you for the bruises and the abrasions that you're willing to take to make sure that our people are recipients of the truth. And you know what? He called for nothing less in these last days. So guess what? You're an example for the rest of Yasharel to take it up. But here's another promise that we have. And here's the deal. We can look at your subscriptions. What does the word say? By yourself, you put 1,000 to flight. But when you got your brother involved, look at your subscription base. I land there.
Thanks, Brother Don. Brother Dave, how's it going? Unmute yourself, Brother Dave. Dave, you there? All right, we're gonna wait till Brother Dave come back, see what he got to say. But one thing I want to add is every decision you make is yours. Right now, I was talking to one of our listeners, And she was telling me how she went and joined this this Hebrew Israelite organization run by a woman. And, they went to Egypt and stuff. And so then, they all got into a tiff. And, they went to Egypt and stuff. And they got into a tiff. And so she had to leave, and she's in Turkey now. She's planning on going to Africa, but like for me, I don't follow groups, right? I don't follow people like that. I mean, for me to follow somebody, you would have to be literally a Moses, right? You would have to be like, I mean, anointing have to be on you that strong, right? Because there's a lot of false prophets out there, right? And so, a lot of times people want followers, right? And they want money and they want influence. I don't want none of that, right? I want Yeshua, right? I want to hear, well done, thy good and faithful servant. I want to see my people released from the curses. I want our people back on top and not on the bottom. So I'm seeing these signs here. And, to me, you got to understand, I've been teaching this for a long time, even before you all knew me. And, of course, my doctrine changed once I knew we was Israel. But I'm seeing all these things, right? And I think it's because a lot of people don't see it the way I see it, right? The way my mind puts it together, that y'all don't see the dire consequences, right? Y'all don't see how close it is. And, maybe I'm wrong, and maybe we have 5 more years, but I don't know if we have a year. Brother Dave, are you there? Brother Dave.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, you got a lot of gain.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, your gain is real high.
Can you hear me? Test 1, 2.
I hear you, but your gain is high.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, your gain is real high.
All right, I'll turn it down a little bit.
I hear you, but your gain. And there's some feedback. But we can hear you if you want to say something. And there's some feedback. But we can hear you if you want to say something.
You guys go ahead over there. If you can hear me.
Yeah, we hear you.
This thing's not working right.
We hear you.
You guys go ahead over there. If you can hear me. Yeah, this thing's not working right. We hear you. I got an echo.
Yeah, are you using the Bluetooth, or are you speaking through your phone, or something different?
I got an echo.
Yeah, are you using the Bluetooth, or are you speaking through your phone, or something different?
No, I got a professional mic. I'm speaking through the mic, but it's like I hear a feedback loop of myself. No, I got a professional.
Do you have external speakers? If you do, turn those off.
It's like I hear a feedback loop of myself.
Do you have external speakers? If you do, turn those off.
Okay, what you got to do is kill your primary YouTube source that brought you into the chat.
I'm not gonna mess up the show. Y'all go ahead. I'm listening.
No,
I just want to ask you a question. Where are we supposed to go? Or give me an area. That you're looking at.
Okay, I believe I discussed that in the beginning, that for me personally, I'm going to Tanzania, I'm going to South Africa. That's what I'm planning. And if I have time, I'm going to go to Ethiopia. These are more of a reconnaissance, right? This is going to find out where I want to go. I want to reconnoiter the land. I want to make connections. I want to find out what place is good for me, because what's good for you may not be good for me. But I do believe that we have people on the ground there who can tell us, especially like in Tanzania, right, the Dry Bones Project, what it's like there, right? And my plan is to visit South Africa and Ethiopia. That's for me. You might want to go to Zambia. You might want to go to Zimbabwe. You might want to go to Namibia. You might want to go to different places. But what I'm saying is you have to have an idea where you're going, because Like for me, I don't want to end up in the old place, right? I don't want to be in like not a concentration camp, but a refugee camp. I don't want to do that, right? And I think the only way to avoid that is that you have to plan ahead, right? Now, some of y'all don't believe that's the case. Now, if you look at the first Exodus, right, we talk about it as the Exodus, but in all honesty, what they were was refugees, right? That's what they were. And so that's why when they were in the wilderness, they were like, look, we ain't got no water, right? All we eat is bread falling from heaven, right? Can we have some quail? I see it from a whole different viewpoint than when I was in Christianity. Christianity, just, I don't know, you don't really see it as a real situation, but now you see that they were refugees. They left Egypt. And I'm going to put it in modern terms. When they left Egypt, and I'm putting it in modern terms, so y'all who come in late, y'all going to get confused. But when they left Egypt, they had electricity. When they left Egypt, they had running water. When they left Egypt, they had paved roads. If you see what I'm saying, now they don't have none of that. They were people who was used to the finer things, even though they were slaves. Right? They were used to having 3 meals a day, let's say, right? They were used to being able to drink clean water. But now they're in the wilderness. They don't have no water. They don't have no quail. But the Most High said, look, all of that stuff that happened to them is for our example. And if it's for our example, then we may go through that again. I'm smart enough or wise enough or have the revelation enough to understand that this Exodus is different, right? This Exodus has to be different because there are people all over the world. So everybody not going back at the same time and everybody not going to be in the same place. And there's no Moses, at least not yet. So you got to make wise decisions. I'm going by what the word says. The word tells me to flee. So I got to make preparations. I'm seeing the water drying up, as the scripture says. I see the lack of food. I see the mark of the beast on the horizon. I'm seeing all of these judgments. I'm seeing World War III. And I'm supposed to just sit here and not make plans? That don't make no sense to me. It ain't a lack of faith. It's being wise. So somebody else had something to say?
Yacoba.
Yeah, brother.
That flee doctrine. First of all, you have to look at how many years back that was introduced, who it was introduced by, and the actions that they took. That whole thing was based on fake people, a fake chart, and a fake destiny. So you can throw that out the window with its definition. We're not talking about flee doctrine. We're talking about hearing from the Most High and being obedient to the individual voice that the Ruach HaKodesh gives to us at the time that he gives it to us. For me, the Ruach HaKodesh, the Most High spoke through the Ruach HaKodesh and told me to come out from amongst her and be separate. And what he was saying was, get your butt out of that Christian church and that Sunday service. The next time that he spoke to me, it was probably a year later, 14 months, something like that. He told me to come out from among her. Yeah, you know that verse he read. That's what he told me to do. And I'm sitting right now because I have consultants, that I've consulted with, and then I have my group of people that we are making active plans to get the hell up out of here as a group. And the reason why we want to leave as a group is because when we get this land collectively, we can watch each other's back as individuals coming out of the dust barrel. And for me, that makes the most sense. But here's the other deal. If nobody don't make a move, the Most High already told me what he told me. And so for him that knows to do what the Most High told us to do, and we don't do it, for him, sin, caught up in the destruction. And so my thing is, for me, the Most High told me to do certain things, and I've done those things because he loves me, and he showed me that, and he's made provision. I don't know if you guys know about Executive Order 140607, particularly Part 4. And that's the transformation of your paper capital into digital currency, because they've already proved the crypto model. Folks, if you don't realize how this is all working in terms of prophecy, you're really lost. And they got this idiot sitting up in here. Oh, Uncle Jim Crow. Oh, Uncle Jim Crow, who's like, oh, I'll rubber stamp any damn thing y'all bring through here except for reparations. But they don't realize, see, here's the deal. One of the reasons why I had to back away from all that foundational Black America, because that's all paid opposition, if y'all don't know it.
Yeah.
You have to get into the receipts. I cussed Tariq Nasheed's ass out last night. And ADOS, all that shit is paid opposition. Listen, Tariq's wife, first of all, he couldn't marry some melanated Nubian queen, even though this nigga is from South Central LA.
Yeah.
He had to go get him a Jewish blend.
Blonde hair, blue eye.
And then you have to see what her mama is about. She's all about that Christianity on the evangelistic tip. Left wing, not right wing. Then you go into ADOS. Who the hell is the main speaker there? Who is her folks? See, BLM taught us some stuff. Because when you go back into the background of BLM, you understand who these people are in their background that's backing them. And then, and I'm talking from a family stance. Now, from a professional stance, you got Susan, what's her name? Susan, is it Rosenberg? And you got, what's that other cat name? You know, the popular one. They were the ones that funded that BLM Global. See, BLM, in terms of a movement like Our Lives Matter, that's what we were on the streets for. They jumped out for the money.
Yeah, and they co-opted it.
Yep. And so the Coonstress, now she's running a white supremacy. Oh, by the way, Coonstress, that's my term. I coined that. I got the history on that. So, nephew, sorry, you can't get it. You got palm colored, but you can't get Coonstress. But at any rate, she jumped out there on that, you know, behind this whole distraction with Kanye. Y'all don't be confused. Kanye's a paid distraction. Okay? because there's other things going on
There you
as it
go.
relates to the prophecy of the Most High. Y'all don't understand that we are looking for signs because Yahushua Mashiach said, y'all don't even understand. Y'all can call the weather based on looking at the skies, but you don't recognize the time of your visitation, and that's why Jerusalem was destroyed in 70 AD, because they didn't recognize the time of their visitation. We are in another time. And if you don't recognize the signs of the time, your ass is going to be destroyed. And this is what my nephews are saying to you if you don't get it. Now, I'm going to say this, and I'm going to land my plane because I'm a big mouth and I got a whole lot to say. Why? Because I read. I buy books that y'all don't want to spend money on, but you're spending on your damn nails and weaves. We're coming to the end. I gave you the executive order. That's probably going to happen after the spring of 2023. And then you're going to also start to see what China already has proved, which is called social credit. Now, some of you niggas, like me, and I'm going to tell you why, me, don't even got damn credit to buy anything else. Mine came through the trickery of student loan.
Yep, exactly.
You know, go to school, get a degree, and get a good job. Nigga, I wish I had done vocational stuff. I actually started out to do vocational. I was trying to get into the Maritime Academy that they had, the only one for the California State University, because, you know, I'm going to get that degree and get into it and then get that money on that degree. But the waiting list was too long because it was one. So I got into politics and other stuff and got degrees. I have hella degrees and hella certifications, and I can only get $15 an hour. So don't ask me why I don't have a family. The reality is this. The system is wrapping around. I'm trying to put myself based on my internet YouTube street connections, put myself back in a position where I can have access to their capital before their system falls apart, fortify what I'm doing, and get the hell out of here. So this is creating a situation where you have leverage, and this is actually what I'm doing right now, and it's outside of Don P, because I have my other businesses, and the leverage that I'm trying to create is all digital. So y'all can, it's hard for y'all to play in that one. But this other one that we're getting ready to propose to some partners next month, it includes, well, first of all, it's based on our laws, statutes, and so forth. And it has to do with our health. The other thing is it improves our financial position, because here's the statistic. If you had a financial emergency.
So, Brother Don, the plane coming down?
Yeah, the plane's coming down, baby.
Okay.
The plane is absolutely coming down. Because if no, but this is really important.
All right.
If you had a financial emergency that was over $400, do you have the disposable income to meet that obligation? So the thing about it is, what we're looking at with the Most High's blessing is we can create a situation that can not only help bless the nation's health, because there's plenty of health testimonies, but also the nation's wealth. What could you do with an extra $500 a month? This is the good of the nation, and I'm landing the plane here. My brother Yaakov and his brother, they have dedicated, and I've seen their moves. They taking their hits, and they stood like men, and they're still standing, trusting the Most High. And we can take an example from these brothers, these young brothers. We can take an example from them and emulate that. And guess what? We'll all get out of here and we'll all be in, well, I would say the wilderness. We'll all be in that wilderness where, separation take place. I land my plane there. Thank you so much, brothers. I love you. Twice a day, you scaring me, man. I land my plane there.
Thanks, Brother Don. So I'm going to answer this question, Steve Ellison. How do the poor and homeless leave those in prison? I'm gonna make it this plain, right? I'm going to make it plain. Okay. That's not my problem. That's not your problem. That's the Most High's problem. You do what he tells you to do for you, right? That's not our problem. We can't get them out of prison. A lot of us don't have no money. Now, if Kanye was rolling like that, he could have sold those billions and financed a lot of us out of here, right? I'm just saying. But understand, some things you don't have the answer to. We know for a fact that the Most High states he's not going to leave one behind. So we know that the poor, the homeless, and those in prison are going to leave. Now, if you won't wait for that time, that's on you, right? That's on you. You have free will. See, some of y'all don't get it, right? And so, like I say too, I'm not trying to convince you of anything. And I don't want you to make a decision because of me. I don't want no followers. I'm not trying to create no cult. I'm not trying to be like some of these people out there, like the person I told you about who went somewhere with somebody and they turned on her. I'm not trying to do that, right? That's not me. I'm not asking you for no money. I'm not trying to get you to put something in my coffers and y'all follow me like Moses, because the Most High didn't tell me to do that. What I'm saying is you have to be wise. You have to use wisdom. You have to understand that the second Exodus is not like the first Exodus. You have to understand and make sure that when you study the word, you're rightly dividing it. What does the Most High mean when he says flee? Does he mean I just stay here and sit? He told me to flee so that the plagues don't fall on me. He told me and you, the Israelites, to leave and think with Zion on the mind. I'm just saying, some of y'all just don't get it. I don't care if God tells you to stay, you stay. If he tells you to leave, you leave. I'm not telling you what to do. That's not my place. I'm trying to get you to see the signs. I'm trying to let you know what's happening. I'm trying to let you see what I see. Because here's the thing. I could easily do this, right? I could easily say, you know what? Ain't my problem. I could easily say, I'm going. I could easily, somebody got their mic on. I got feedback. What's that? Oh, I'm getting, hold on. Y'all hear me? Y'all can hear me, right, Brother Don?
We can hear you fine.
We can hear you fine.
Okay.
We can hear you
All
fine. And definitely we want to go in because you done dip into some other places. So yeah. Okay.
Okay.
No, and it's admonishments for the nation. So go ahead, brother.
So understand this, right? You don't have to do anything I tell you to do, not near thing, not one, not zero, not anything. All I'm saying is look at what's happening. Look at the waters drying up. Look at the food disappearing. Look at the businesses that process food burning down. Look at the social credit system that's going to be implemented. That's what you're seeing happening with Kanye. I'm just saying, look at what's happening. If you good with that and you want to sit under all of that, that's your choice. All I'm saying is for me, I'm making plans for me to get out. Now, like I was saying, I could easily have done that myself. I could have been quiet and make my moves on my own, right? And y'all be like, where Yacoba at? How did Yacoba end up in Africa? I thought he was in Texas. I'm telling you ahead of time, I'm just making plans. Why? so that you can see what I see and decide for yourself. So you can have the information I have and decide for yourself. That's all I'm saying. All right. Let me go back. Anybody else have any comments? Brother Karras?
Yeah, I was gonna just kind of go back to the point of it's good to prepare. It's good to prepare. It's good to have a plan written down. It's good to understand. If you here's the thing, people don't naturally have the intent to flee. That's not by nature what people do. The problem is what people do is they'll try to wait out a disaster or try to do something, that's either a little premature or, in light of fear. There's a lot of things that happen. So again, in the worst case scenario or environment, if you don't have the running water, if you don't have the electricity, if you don't have the necessary food, um, that whether you have it stored or you're able to get it, who knows? But when you run out of those things and you run out of shelter because there's something that's going on, I think it's this. We're so it's unconscionable and it's unfathomable that honestly nobody can see war coming here to this nation. It just like with the Mississippi River drying. Well, that's what it said in the word, but it's just unconscionable and unfathomable because we've never seen that in our lives, but now we're seeing it, right? We've never heard about nuclear weapons and the high potential for it being used, but now they're doing it. So now you're starting to see everything that's coming to pass in this word, and it doesn't say that you know um the beasts are burned with fire. It said that the whore will be burned with fire, and we know that the seat of the empire of this whore, of this daughter of Babylon, is where a majority of us are sitting at. And so, yes, I understand. Well, where's that point B, and who's going to be there for point B? Look, we don't have those questions, but the thing is, you can research them. That's what we're telling you, and we have resources that people are there on the ground doing those things. So now, if you're heeding right the warning, which is it's pretty grave, it's pretty dire. Okay, I don't know if people have really been understanding this. Where this is really the White House admitting that you have less than 4 weeks of diesel and counting. Do you get what I'm saying? What's going to happen when you can't even drive your cars? What's going to happen when there's not food at the grocery store because now the famine's going to be even more pronounced? These are just a lot of the things that they're having to look at. But if we're talking about it, I think that's a little bit of a better step up than just being ignorant about everything and, oh, well, I guess I didn't see that coming. Well, this is what we're doing. This is what the Most High is putting on his people's hearts to talk about this. Because preparing isn't a bad thing, is not being fearful, but it's to understand, look, I want to make sure that I have everything that I need for myself and my family, that when it comes, when that day comes, it's not a question of if that day comes. No, when I have to go because, something, where I'm at is being shelled. Where I'm at is on fire. Where I'm at is I can't be there. I physically have to leave because of safety. I don't know if they're going to be using mustard gas. You think that these folks are going to be really thinking about, rules of warfare and rule of law and rules of engagement and all these Geneva conventions? Absolutely not. When you see them rolling on up, you already know you better go or you're going to be in the crosshairs. It's that simple. So it's not going to be of, well, will the Most High, will He, put it in the heavens? Will He have a prop plane on a very sunny day go and write the letters flee? No, no. You'll understand it. You'll see it, and chances are, none of us. Don't count on me to put a live up. I definitely probably wouldn't count on Jacoba to put a live up. Okay, you'll know, but again, have your paperwork in order, have everything that you can in order. It'll be it's not going to be an easy transition, but it'll be the best transition for what we are going to be able to deal with, right? The best things that you can do is just prepare, right? Some things will be easy and some things will be hard, but as long as you're able to do it, then get it done.
So Latoya Matthews says, so how about those that have the means and resources to leave, go to Africa and set up shop for the rest of us who don't have the resources to leave and make a way for us to leave? I like her idea. That's what I like. The problem is people with us, who have the type of idea that she has, don't have the cash, right? We don't have the money usually, right? The people who want to do these type of things. And I agree with her 100%. This is the ideal, but most of us don't have it, the ones who have the heart, because, that's usually how it is, because people who have money want to hold on to money. People who don't have money, want to give. But then you see people, I've seen it, where people who didn't have, who get it, they don't give no more. So, Brother Floyd, welcome.
Shabbat family. It's a blessing to be in here with you, brethren, and I am so thankful that you took the reset, the urgency of this matter, because I think the more the more people start thinking, the more people start making plans. It happened in my own spirit 8 or 9 months ago, as I was reading and I read across Revelations 18. It talks about fleeing and getting out of Babel because of the things that were
Floyd, something wrong with your mic. It's sort of scratchy.
Moon. So I'm exactly what that is. Maybe it's just my positioning. Let me adjust.
You got an echo. No, you got an echo. So you've got some kind of technical interference.
Tell you what. I'm gonna hop back. Shalom. We'll get you on the other side.
Okay, thanks, Brother Floyd. So I wanna talk about this right quick. What Second Exodus says. Y'all making it about works. The Most High is going to deliver us. We just need a very clear sign like free tickets to get on the ships or something. Okay, fine. I mean, I ain't got a problem with that, right? If that's how you roll, that's cool. I mean, a lot of people in that situation, like I told y'all in the beginning of, about 2 years ago, I was sick. I wasn't going nowhere. I'm getting better now. There was no way I was hopping on no boat, no plane, and going nowhere because I was ill. I'm doing better. So now I believe that I can go make plans. Because here's the difference. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to say it like this. I'm responsible for my house. I'm married to my wife. I have to take care of my son. So I have to make preparations as the head of my house to protect my family. Now, you all are my family, but you're not my immediate family, right? So I can't make decisions for you. You have to make decisions for yourself. I have to be a wise steward and a good covering for my wife. I have to be a good covering for my son. I have to protect my home, right? I ain't no weak man. I told y'all that. I'm going to take care of mine. If I see danger coming, I'm going to make preparations so that they don't be caught up in it. That's all. You do you. I'm going to do me. That's all I'm saying. All right, Brother Floyd, you back. And now I'll come back to you. All right, let's hear what you were saying, brother.
Yeah, can you hear me well? Can you hear me well now?
Go ahead. Let's hear that sound.
Yeah. So Aaron, is that when I first the urgency in my spirit
it's
about
still echoing. It's echoing back.
Yeah, the echo is still bad, brother. You might have to look on your deck and see if you have YouTube open. And
I
if you
do
have
know.
YouTube open, close it. Close it and just leave yard screen.
Better now.
Go ahead, say something.
Am I?
No, you're still echoing.
I'll tell you what. I will check on the other side. I'm enjoying what's being said. We need to flee and get out of here because it talks about it in far too many places that you all have already talked. So this resets the importance being serious preparation.
Okay. All right. If you can get that fixed, yeah, come back on. We like to hear what you have to say.
All right.
All right. Thanks for it. Brother Doug.
What up? Yeah.
So, Brother Doug, what's your viewpoint on this? You think it's flea doctrine?
Hold on one moment. All right. Go ahead. What were you saying?
What's your thoughts on this? You think it's flea doctrine? You think it's everybody got to wait? Because here's the thing, like I was saying, right? Josephus was talking about how they were telling them God ain't gonna destroy this place. Y'all, what y'all running for? You ain't got to flee the mountain.
A couple months ago, I was on my tip.
Yes.
I mean, I'm hitting my consultants.
Can he mute
Because
his-
here's the deal. I'm not there.
Hello, Don.
What's the
Don P? Could you mute your mic?
There we go.
So let me just say this, man. So I try to picture things, okay, Brother Jacob. I try to envision things. So I think, and then I do comparison because everything that we are looking for, the answers that everyone seems to be finding, I'm reading the comments, I'm looking at everybody kind of frantic all over. What are we going to do? Look, Creator put it in Scripture. Real simple. First, let's surmise this. Egypt, we are leaving. Moses tells everybody, do what you got to do. Let's go. We're leaving. I don't remember anything written about the Hebrews that may have decided to stay behind. And I can imagine there may have been a few. Their story went untold. Let's just say it probably didn't end well for them. I also can't imagine everybody, as Moses is telling people to get ready to go and to forget what you see, to kind of frantically run around and worry about who from over there is going to be getting from there. Listen to me, man. The Creator has this. We don't have to surmise or try to project or prospect what might happen. The Creator has all things in order. His hand satisfies everything as it opens. And so when we talk about the details, well, the Creator's into details. Look at creation. So I don't concern myself with what I see in the comments. So many people talk about fleeing. Oh, you're scared. There's no fear. The Creator says, leave if you can. If you can't, lean in the direction. Think about where you want to be. Almost, projecting the end game, because that's where we will end up. I don't know the specifics. I don't think those that packed their gear and said, we're out of here in Egypt knew the specifics. All they knew was look to Moses. That's all. Look to the Most High God to arrive right on time as usual and always. That's all. But the details, leave to him. He'll lead you as you are needed to be led. And I see so many talk about that, having said that. So, yeah, there we go. That's all I got.
Thank you, Brother Doug. And so here's the thing, and I'm gonna let you speak, Brother Don. But here's the thing. For me, right, I don't want to leave either, right? Because my family here either. You think it's easy for people to just up and leave? You think it was easy for Abraham to up and leave, right? Most of us don't want to leave, right? Most of us got it pretty decent at least here. You got shelter, you got food, you got water, and you got familiar territory. Most people don't want to go to something unfamiliar, right? Don't think I want to go somewhere unfamiliar either, right? But understand, I'm looking at the sign. I'm not telling you what to do, right? But like I said, if I didn't tell you, I'd be a hypocrite, right? If I went and just took care of myself and didn't tell you and warn you to make preparations for you and yours, you'd be like, I thought Jacob cared for us. I thought he loved us. He just like all them other pastors care about himself. That ain't me, right? So all I'm doing is giving you a heads up. You want to say something, Brother Don, and then I'll come to Brother Oral.
No, I you know what, man, you just killed it on the last point, bro. You just broke my heart on last point, because a true pastor cares about the sheep. And this is not an individual who's appointed by some great Ephesus that they built. It's about the heart of the individual. And I guarantee you, I could go into a plethora of scriptures that talk about the heart of a shepherd as opposed to the edifice. And that wasn't even my comment. That wasn't even where I was trying to go. It was just that you said something that was so striking that I had to comment on it, man, because, like you said, your major responsibility is to your house. Now, depending on the purpose the Most High birthed you with, you might have to, address that, but you can't not be faulted for dealing with your house first and all that. If you're doing that, you're fulfilling the will of the Most High for you, because that's your first priority. We're secondary, and we're blessed because you're being responsive. Every day, brother, when I wake up, I pray for protection. That's, well, I give thanks. Then I pray for protection. And then I asked him to lead me and guide me into the purpose and the direction that he has for my life. And this is what I see, you and your brother coming together and doing what y'all do. The evidence, I mean, come on, man, it's evident, bro. You wouldn't have all these people sitting on here. It's evident. Shoot, we trying to get to what y'all doing, man. Walking in our purpose and our destiny, bro. That's all we trying to do. Well, at least for those who want to be for real about why we're here on this planet and why the Most High has, put our boots on this ground, because we trying to do the same thing, man. And I hear the fulfillment and the frustration in your life, but you know what? Shuck that frustration off, man. Know that your reward it lies nigh. Y'all
All right,
coming
thank you,
into
Brother
you and
Don.
your brother. All right, man.
All right, so Brother Oral, any comments? And I'm gonna come to Mr. Tayu and then Fast Nickel.
Yeah, actually, what I was going to say, the reason why you're going to get pushback is we're creatures of habit, and like you say, Babylon has a lot of amenities that we're used to. We're used to our air-conditioned cars, especially here in Florida. Everything is air-conditioned. You go from your air-conditioned car to your air-conditioned home to your air-conditioned office, so everybody's used to that. Then you have every variety of foods, everything's there. And a lot of people have never actually lived on the rough before, so they don't know how it's going to be, and we're afraid of the unknown. So even though we say we trust the Most High, we are thinking, okay, I'll just sit and just trust them. But it says faith without works is dead. So faith means to move. You can't just say, okay, I'm just going to have faith and not do anything. Faith means working. And that's all I have to say about that.
Yeah, I love this from Master Tactics. He's 100 on this. If Russia said they will launch a nuke next week, how many people here on this chat would not flee America? That's what I'm saying. How many of y'all, if Russia said we're going to nuke y'all next week, y'all going to be sitting there and say, I'm waiting? I know you're a liar and the truth ain't in you if you say you're going to sit there and wait. But anyway, Minister Tayu.
Salama family. I'm not on my normal computer. Visiting my daughter out of town, but interesting conversation. Yeah, I mean, my brother and I just were talking, and we can sense that things are bad. They've taken a turn, and I know a lot of people can't see it, so they think they got time, and I think we're running out of time. And not that everyone can flee. I mean, we're not sure what we can do, but we're like, we gotta make plans. We gotta have options. We have to start looking and seeing what we can do. So we're trying, as Minister Yakoba said, we're trying to see what we can find out about Africa, because trying to enter as a refugee, your options are limited, right? If you can make plans ahead of time, have something in place, that would be better. So that's all I have at this time.
All right, Fast Nickel, welcome back.
Good evening, everyone. Excellent. I love listening. I can't get enough of your videos because they are so on point. I just wanted to say that. But I believe, in my opinion, this second Exodus will not be like the first, where everyone left in mass at one time. I believe because this awakening is not everyone has awakened yet. And so, for one, God is a God of action. And so many times I have to tell Christians, Christians treat the Most High like he's a genie, that they just pray and things fall in their lap. And I have to tell them, no, you have to, yes, God can do anything, but you have to make the first step and show that action, and then God will do the rest. And so I believe that sometime next year, there will be a lot of blessings for those who have been preparing. Those blessings are going to come to pass next year, and that group of people, maybe some of us on this panel, will be able to flee. And by doing so, we will set up the foundation and have the means to now help those who weren't seeing, didn't believe, and now they see the writing on the wall, and we will have the means to help them, bring them over.
That's right, Fast Nickel, because a lot of times we don't understand that the Most High makes preparations for us, right? And so that's why I always believe that those who left early, who are in Africa now, are those who are part of making a way and setting the foundation and getting to know the land and getting to know the people and getting to know the language and the rules and all of these things, right? So a lot of the foundation is already being laid for our return. And so even as our brother Fast Nickel was saying, some of us may even end up there building the foundation so that you won't have a hard landing, right? So your landing can be probably better than it was with the first Exodus, but we don't really know, right? But it does. Yeah, go ahead.
I was saying, just like you said with the preparation, when you think of Yeshua, when he was born and they brought him the frankincense, the myrrh, and the gold, that was the necessary means for Mary and Joseph to sustain him for the 2 years as they fled. So God will do the same for us.
Yeah, exactly. So, the thing is, it's not about us convincing you to do anything, right? You do as you're led. And if the Most High tells you to stay and you don't want to prepare, that's on you. There's consequences for every decision made, right? And so for me, I don't believe that Yahuwah is a genie in the box and he just does things. He could do whatever he want when he want, but he usually wants you to participate, right? Usually you're a participant in the miracle, or you're a participant in the wonders, right? You're a participant in the Exodus, right? You're not just to sit on your butt and do nothing. If you just sit there, let's say Moses just sat there, ain't nothing was going to happen, right? So, I mean, same thing with the Israelites when, if they didn't put that blood on their doorpost, they would have died, right? There's action That's what some of y'all don't get. But here's the thing. Some of y'all don't know the time of your visitation. See, because you don't know the word. And you think you know the word.
I just want to add, though, this is not a call to, organizing in Exodus with Tail Ministries, anything like that, right? There have been groups who've done that, right? And they found themselves back in the United States after fleeing to Egypt and all that. Y'all heard about them stories from the camps. And, there's this prophetess woman did the same thing. And if anybody got discernment, her spirit was never on point. But we're not doing that. We're just saying you need to start thinking for yourself, thinking for your family, and trying to see what options are available. If your options are just to wait and collect some cans and water for what's coming, then that's all you can do. But if you can go further than that, a little investigation, even reaching out to, like T3 and me, Journey with Stepping Stone to Home. I mean, reaching out to them and just finding out, getting more information. I mean, that's a start, But yeah, definitely, we're not saying we're going to organize and move at the same time. You got to listen to the calling of the Most High. You got to listen to the Holy Spirit. And so we're never saying, follow us. We're saying we have a feeling of urgency, and we need to at least start thinking about what our options are. That's where we are at this point.
So moderators, look, if this dude come back in here talking about sealed portions, block him. Okay, I put him in timeout twice. He keep coming in here with that foolishness. Block him, please. All right, so we're gonna get some fun. Huh?
Block him now. Is that the guy from last week with sealed portions?
This Emmanuel Ephraim. I'm trying not to be too heavy-handed, but block him next time. I could block him now. Maybe I will. Yeah, I'm gonna block him. Let's see. Oh, well, I can't do it right now. Well, if he come back in here, he's getting blocked.
Well, I read the sealed portion to y'all, a couple of weeks ago?
Yes, you have.
Yeah,
I feel like sometimes these people may be just agents coming here to just kind of cause problem.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
All right. So I wanted to do this because, a lot of people get confused and they think we're telling them what to do. And some of them say, I'm waiting on the Lord. I'm going to do this. Yes, wait on the Lord. Whatever he leads you to do, you do. Right. So all I'm saying is you've been warned. You can see the signs. You can see the water drying up. You can see the lack of food. It's your decision. Right. And I'm not saying for you to do anything. You just need to be wise in your decisions. Now, you think you understand the scriptures like that you know how we're going to be gathered. As I was asking my brother today, I said, what if, and I don't know, I'm not saying this is the case, but I said, what if the gathering is happening now? What if us being on this panel and you being in the chats and those who listening to us as part of the gathering? Because, the gathering is where you bring the people together. How does that reconcile with the command to flee? So if I'm told to be gathered, when are we going to be gathered? And then when do we flee? How does that work? Knowing that this is nothing like the first Exodus. How does that work out? Maybe your understanding isn't accurate. Maybe you see through a glass darkly. Maybe you have part of the picture, not the whole picture. I'm just saying, just like those people who were in Jerusalem when the false prophets told them, don't go nowhere because God ain't going to destroy this place because the temple's here. And God destroyed them, and all those who didn't flee to the mountains like Yeshua told them got killed. I'm just saying, you need to hear from the Most High, and you need to use common sense. If you're seeing that the water drying up, if you see that the economy about to fall, if you see that, the places that process food, if you see they're not growing enough food for the next year, right? Because they don't have no fertilizer. If you see because there's not enough water, that there's not going to be enough food. I'm just saying, I hope your faith there for the manna.
So Minister Yacoba, Sister Latoya Matthews, she said, so what should a single Black woman do? I would say reach out to T3 and me, Journey journey with us and ask them, because they know of single women out there now, even single women with children. And, there, some people have found a way. So, when you think you have no resources, you may find that you have resources, or you may find that there are means that you did not think of.
That's true. Because there's one sister. I mean, it's not easy. Let's put it that way. And she went out there with 5 kids, right? And she had an abusive relationship, and she moved to Tanzania. I think she's in either Egypt or Jordan. I forgot where she said she was going. But she's still out there, right? In Africa. I believe she's still there in Africa. And she's by herself with 5 kids, and some kind of way she's surviving. I'm just saying, sometimes you got to take a step of faith, just like Abraham did. And I'm not telling you to do anything. At the very minimum, have your passport ready. Have a little cash stored on the side. Have a little food that you could put in your bag if you got to get out quick, right? At the very minimum, be prepared. Don't be like those who's not prepared.
At least most of us probably don't have a passport. I didn't have a passport till a year and a half ago, my whole life, right? So that, the Gentiles, they had passports when they 8 years old, traveling around the world. A lot of us don't, because, we don't travel like that. But I think that's a start. It's just having it. Like, if the option is made available and you say, okay, now it's getting serious, I have to find a way out, and you're still able to fly, then maybe that's, you don't have to wait for a passport, because they're not going to be giving out passports later. So, when they shut it down, you might take years to get a passport. So, I mean, that's a starting point.
All right, Malcolm Jordan, and after him, we're going to get final comments. Welcome.
Hello. Hi, everyone. I just wanted to say I really enjoy listening to the ministry. I've been listening to you for about 2 years now. I just my problem and my biggest worry is I really don't want my parents to fall for the system. I try my best to really educate them on what is really going on, and tell them that a lot of the mainstream news is just blatantly lying to them. And I just get very worried about that. And I know I need to trust in the Most High and let him know, or he has his plan. And I keep, I'll send them videos, I'll send them all kinds of things. What should I just stop trying to even entertain that, or just kind of let the Most High handle it? Because I'm worried, because I know my mom doesn't want to leave her mother. I lost my granddad during COVID, and I know my mom doesn't want to leave her, and that's her biggest worry, and that's what I get worried about. So that's just my little comment.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that, and a lot of people in that situation, and some people are just not going to be able to leave right now, and some people are not going to be able to leave unless they get healed, and that's where trusting in the Most High comes in. But here's the thing: even if they keep denying and don't want to listen, like for me, right? I've been pestering my family for years, right? And here you come, Yakoba, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to hear that, Yakoba. I only want positive stuff. I don't want to hear negative stuff, right? And so some stuff I don't talk to them about, right? But they know who we are, and they don't deny who we are. But in terms of what's happening, they don't see it, right? And they're still holding on to the idea of an election, Democrat versus Republican, and all this stuff, when all of that is about to fade away, right? So here's the thing. Some people got to have the hammer come down on them. Some people have to see where, okay, I can't go to the store now. I can't go get no more Popeyes. I can't go to the store and buy, a steak unless I spend $200 for one steak, right? See, when it starts hitting home like that, they're gonna realize it then, right? So, but here's the thing: let's say they don't go with you, right? Because you know, a lot of my family don't want to come with me, but let's say they don't want to go with you, and let's say you decide you want to leave, and you go to Africa. Let's say wherever you're going, I ain't telling you where to go, but wherever you're going, and you went there, and you got a house, and you got some land, and you got some food, and you got some water. Guess what? They have a place to go, right? So everybody don't have to be convinced right now. But if you're led and you're able to do, and you set up something, just like when my family came and stayed with me during Katrina, and my brother can tell you about it, you know, my whole family was staying with me. But just think if I wasn't there, you know?
Yeah, we all showed up on his doorstep. I mean, we lost everything. The only thing we had left was our car and our clothes on our back. And it was a blessing while we were fleeing to end up by Yacoba, and we stayed there for about a month. And I mean, that would have been a lot different if we didn't have him as a safety net or refuge, let's say. So I mean, even if one member out of a whole family was able to make it happen in Africa or find some land that can accommodate a few, then even if they end up later being refugees, those refugees won't be in refugee camps. They will be with one of their relatives, you see. So, but I mean, it's a hard decision. I mean, many of us are, as some of the panel was saying, are stuck with the idea that, you know, this thing we have with, the cars and the AC, the cheap food, cheap gas, think it's going to last. But I mean, if you look at, I mean, as Minister Yacoba was showing, you know, we already have issues with transportation of food. How long is that going to last? By 2023, obviously food prices are going to go up because they can't get the food across the Mississippi River, right?
Yes.
It's already gone up, to be honest with you.
Well, it has, yeah. And it's going to keep going up. You know, days' wages for a loaf of bread look like it could be possible. So, you know, just thinking about, that scenario, what's your plan for 2023? When you know, the 18-wheelers are going to have to bring all the food, but we got distribution problems. We had those plants that have been burning down for the past couple of years, like almost 100 food plants in America. I didn't even know we had that many, but they burned down, you know? So I mean, so we not only have logistics issues with food, we don't have the places that were housing the food. It seems to me 2023 got to be considered a time of trouble. But, you know, at this point, we want you to start thinking, you know, I mean, if you see these things in place and you see these troubles, and then, I mean, just ignoring Russia and all of that, just looking at the climate, looking at the natural disasters, looking at the crops that failed to harvest because of the heat, right? Like during the summer, California had a lot of heat. A lot of other places lost crop because of the heat. I mean, there's so many things that has affected the food supply alone, right? And then we got all other scenarios like, you know, CV9, you know, the lollipop and how the lollipop basically destroyed the economy economically. And you're like, okay, we did 2 years of basically the whole nation shut down or on life support, people not working, people losing jobs. How does the economy survive that? Obviously, this country is operating on printed money, right? On monopoly money that they printed up so that's another thing that's going to come home to roost. So when you're looking at all of this, you just, you know, not to get scared, but you have to just think, you know, what is 2023 going to look like given what I do know?
But here's the thing, the Most High going to provide, but you have to make a way. Like, for instance, when my brother came to stay with us, they ended up going to Houston. Tell him, Minister, tell you, Who paid for your apartment? Who paid for your upkeep and all that stuff, and your moving and all that stuff? You ain't
Well,
had to pay nothing.
After I spent a month by Yacoba, my company rented an apartment for us for a year, utilities paid. You know, they set up remote locations for work, and I didn't have to pay for anything for a year. So, I mean, the Most High took what looked like a disaster and just restored it. And like, my kids were very little then, but for them, the experience wasn't so bad because the ground was laid. And the Most High just opened the door, and I just walked through it. And so back then, my wife and I, we had this little saying, well, what do we do? Where do we go? And we agreed. We said we just rolling with it. We rolling with it. And so wherever the Most High led us, that's where we were going. So we didn't know if we were going back to Louisiana or not. We were just walking through open doors, and open doors just led us back home. And it even though we lost our house and our assets, it got restored. So we didn't really feel the impact like we could have.
And they got a bigger house too. So here's the thing, like, this is our rule of thumb, just letting y'all know. The way we roll is we walk through open doors. So, like, for instance, my plan is to go to Africa. My brother and I plan is to go there and do reconnaissance and make preparations and survey the land and all these things, right? But guess what? The door may not be open. If the door's not open, just like it was during the last 2 years, we couldn't go anywhere, right? If the doors ain't open, then I can't go. If the door is open, we walk through them, right? Same thing with me coming back to Texas. I wasn't coming back to Texas. My brother will tell you, I wasn't coming back, but it's the only place we could get a job. And I was ill. And that's the place where my wife got a job. Guess what? Back in Texas, right? We walk through open doors. And that's all I'm saying. Walk through open doors, but plan, right? You have to plan. I'm not talking about the ones in prison. I'm not talking about the ones who ill. I'm not talking about all of these things that y'all say, what about this? What if? That's the Most High. He's going to take care of that. You see, and some of y'all, he put in place to go lay the foundation, just like they did, like we did for Katrina. I didn't know why I couldn't get a job in New Orleans. I didn't know why I had to come here in Texas, right? I had to come here because Katrina was going to come and my family needed a place to have refuge. I didn't know it at the time. Same thing right now. I might be here right now in Texas again for a similar reason. Who knows, right? This is how we roll. We walk through the open doors. All right, let's get final comments. We're going to start with you, Brother Oral. We're going to go Brother Dave, Keith, Malcolm Jordan, Fast Nickel, then tell you. Brother Oral.
Well, once again, I want to thank you and your brother for just paving the way, because it's a lot of things you guys could have been doing besides preaching the word and doing it at no cost. And also, you putting yourself out there with a big target on both your backs and your family's back. So I thank you, and I pray that the Most High will continue to protect you. The thing is this, as you mentioned, we do need to move. We can't just sit around and say we're going to have faith and we're going to pray. Things are changing because we see it on the shelves. So we do need to do something about that. We need to make preparation. And we understand that no one is saying that we're going to get it all right the first time and we're going to just know where to go and everything's going to fall into place. But you move and the Most High is going to provide the ways. When you move in faith, He open doors, as you said. You guys, your motto is to, whenever the door is open, you walk through it. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Brother Oral. Brother Dave, final comments? All right, we'll come back to you. Brother Keith, final comment?
I'm sorry, can you hear me now?
Okay, hold on, Brother Keith. Yeah, Brother Dave, go ahead.
Finally fixed this damn thing.
Yeah, man, you sound good. No.
Yeah, man, you sound awesome.
You know what the problem was? I was getting feedback because I had to put the headphones on, It was playing through the speakers, and I couldn't figure out how to shut it off.
Oh, okay.
I did when we did the first StreamYard. It was I was on here and we did witches, and that was the first one. Everything worked fine. I don't know what the heck happened after that. Hey, listen, I'm down with you 110%, man. I just got finished listening to your other one. I was doing some work around the house. I said, oh man, Taylor's back on again. I'm like, all right, he been ramping them up lately. It's hard for me to keep up with you, Karis, Sister E, and who's the other one? Pastor, what's his name? I just listened to him. He was in the car.
Pastor Kelly.
Pastor Kelly. I'm like, man, I ain't got enough time to sleep. Y'all kicking them out. Listen, I'm 110% behind you. And just when you were saying that you're thinking about doing that, everything boils down to timing. Timing is everything. And the way you think, the way you do things, and I've been sitting here waiting and thinking to myself, geez, when is all this stuff? When are we supposed to get out of here? Like, I'm ready. I got a lot of good stuff here. You know what? I'm leaving all this crap behind. I don't care. I want out of here. So I'm like, I'm down with it. I'm now have to think about, I'm going to call my sisters up and my brothers and tell them, hey, you know, we all need to think about, skip and dodge, and getting the heck up out of here. But I've been ready. Like I was ready.
I know the only person who's going to listen is my brother. The rest of us, they're going to have to be the ones who trail in right after the fact because we know they ain't going to listen. We'll go ahead.
Right. I mean, the way you do, I've been listening to you for years, and the way you approach things, the way you look at things, even some of the stuff that you post, I'm like, man, me and Tails right there. It's like I'm the third twin. I'm like, the way you think, it's like I'm right there, right with him. I'm like, how does this man know every move I'm getting ready to make? Because he thinks the same way I do. You have a little bit more insight, spiritual insight than I, and I give you that. Is the reason why when you say you thinking about doing something, there is no conflict, none conflict whatsoever. I know you're right by the way you think, and I know your heart. So, listen, you've been a light to all of us, brother. So I'm sitting here waiting, and I'm writing some stuff down.
Thanks, Brother Dave. Appreciate it. Brother Keith.
All right. Scripture tells us that we have to live by faith. And if you believe in the Most High, there's no other way. You have to live by faith, which it means a lot of things, but we won't have all the answers. You just have to kind of like go with the flow. You just have to let the Most High lead you through circumstances and tell you when to move here, when to move there, or whatever, or not to move at all. And that's just the way we have to live. And that's just the way the Most High prescribed it for us. And it is what it is. At the same time, we also have to make preparations, and it's only wise to make preparations. So people need to be thinking about if you have to stay here, how are you going to survive here in this place? If you are able to go to Africa or wherever, you need to be looking at how the technicalities of how you will go there. Will you be able to go there on maybe a travel visa and sort of be a nomad and travel to different countries? Maybe this country for 3 months and another country for another amount of time, and so on and so forth. Like, how exactly will you be able to do so? You have to consider that type of thing. You have to consider if you are able to get like permanent residency, exactly how you will have to do that. Things of that nature. So that's part of the preparation phase, if you will. And again, you have to trust the Most High. People need to also be thinking about community.
You've gotten a little low,
if you have
Brother
a contact somewhere, you may want to use your discernment, of course, but maybe they can give you some information about a particular location, abroad, or wherever you go, or even if it's within the U.S.
You're really low. We can't really hear you well.
Stay out of the fray. Stay out of the drama.
Can you hear us, Brother Keith?
so that type of thing. It's part
I
of the
don't think he can
preparation
hear us.
process, and I think that it's only wise to do
Yeah, it
that.
doesn't look like it.
It's
And
because he walked across the room. That's why.
so the sooner the better. I think if people can start thinking about that type of thing now, it'll be better for them. Because it's not just one thing, really. With what's to come with Babylon, it's not one thing. It's a lot of stuff. You know, you've covered a lot of this stuff in your channel. It's a lot of things. So, if someone has to stay here, they will have a lot to have to survive, even when it comes to like conflict, a possible civil war, some type of conflict, being attacked, so on and so forth. So there's a lot that people will have to try and live through. But again, the just will live by faith. You shall live by faith, and there's no other way to do it. And if you trust the Most High, you just have to be flexible and allow Him to lead you, to direct you, and to maybe redirect you. So be flexible in that sense. And I would also say, with what a lot of economists are saying is very likely to happen next year with like a big recession, people should start saving money. If they don't already save, if they're not savers, they need to start saving money. They need to be wise about how they spend money and hold on to more of it because you're going to need it. Now, of course, with what's happening with a number of things, with the currency, it's possible that, with inflation, the money may not be worth as much as it is now, but you should save it. You should have it because you may have to use it. So I would say all of the non-essential things people buy, they should maybe reconsider. They maybe consider saving some of that money so they can be able to be better prepared for what's to come.
All right, thank you, Brother Keith. Brother Malcolm, final comments?
I guess I would like to say I feel like the writing is on the wall and people are missing the signs. I feel like I've learned a lot from you, Kobe, your messages. To say I feel like the writing. And just everyone hopefully can just be prepared and stay prayed up and listen to what the Most High is telling us, because it's clear there are people who want to stay stuck in this system of treachery and despair. People want to be stuck in this cycle of constant racism. They want to be stuck in this constant economic sabotage. I was, listening earlier, someone was talking about how they went to college and they're only getting paid $15 an hour. And that's my whole situation. I went to college like my parents, like my aunts and uncles, and I'm in debt $45,000 and I get paid $20 an hour. And that it doesn't seem like that cycle will ever end for me unless I go to school more or whatever. So just everyone, please stay prayed up, hold your family close and listen to the Most High that guides you. Thank you for having me up.
All right, thank you, Brother Malcolm. Fast Nickel.
As I listen to everything, what's funny is for those on this show and other shows where we've talked about how people, let's say African Americans, say, hey, America is my home, I'm not going anywhere. But, those of us that are old enough to remember the Freddy Krueger's or the Jason movies from the 80s, the first person to go was always the black person. And when things get bad here, that's going to be the same deal. I mean, the first people that they're going to throw in front of the firing squad are the black people. So,
you know it.
For those people saying, hey, this is my land, the truth is they don't love you the way you love them.
That's it.
So you have to realize that they don't have your best interest at heart. So the other sad reality is that too many people are comfortable. And as Malcolm had mentioned, that a lot of us are not going to want to leave our family or friends. And the truth of the matter is, the same way when you meet your maker, you're going to stand before God alone. And, you may have to leave your son, you may have to leave your daughter, you may have to leave your parents and just go because, you can't stay here or because you want to make them happy, because at the end you're dishonoring God. If God is who you, if Yah is who you say he is, and you love him, then you know what, you might have to cut ties with people and live alone. But you know what, at the end of the day, you're, as you mentioned on some of your shows, that road is very narrow, and we're going to see why it's so narrow, because a lot of people are not going to want to leave their friends and family. And even though, like I said, even though they say they love Yah, their actions are not going to show it.
Right. Thank you, Brother Fast Nickel. Minister Tate.
Yeah. So, yeah, I heard Brother Don P, and just like Brother Malcolm was saying about how them student loans were the worst thing that they ever got involved in. Same thing with me. I wish that was a trap, right? That was a rat trap. And I realized the way the system works, though, they pay you just enough money, right, to pay rent or pay a mortgage, just enough money to buy food, not enough to get ahead. And if you make extra money, they tax it. So you can't use that to get out of debt. So how are you going to pay off your student loan? Most of us cannot. And
it's a prison system. We're still in prison.
It's a prison system. It's designed to rob us in a real sophisticated way, to where you don't even realize you're being robbed. So my tax guy told me the most you can do is kick the can down the road. I realized that not only that's what the corporations even do. They kick the can down the road, right? So because they got the flow of money coming in, they pay the previous year's taxes, and they could write off a bunch of stuff and then kick the can down the road, meaning, the income they made this year to pay last year, they're going to hope that next year pay this year. So we really in a sophisticated prison. We really are. So that's another reason to think about, is this comfort we have really a comfortable prison?
It is, because you don't own nothing.
Like in Africa, you get to wake up.
Exactly. We don't own a thing.
You get to enjoy the food. You know what I'm saying? The media sells you this idea of starvation, but that land produces food. And the only thing that stops food from being produced is war. So war is the only problem that prevents Africa from getting ahead. And that is financed by the European powers in the first place. Right. So I think Africa will also benefit by having a diaspora there, because we know the game. They don't understand the game. So that's all I have to say.
Yeah, we ain't coming to take part. We coming to take over.
Right. I agree with that. Brother Don P, final comment.
Man, y'all went in deep. Y'all went in deep. Somebody should have brought some tissue. Yeah, because y'all got to deal with that scourgement on the outside of how deep you went in. And that is the realest thing that has been said. And this is what I have been saying. Willie Lynch wasn't just for Virginia. Willie Lynch was for the whole diaspora. The reality is this: us that are in the Western, if you want to say it that way, Western diaspora, we have the ingenuity and the know-how. Look at all the patents that we either created or stolen from us. We built this city. And we didn't build it on rock and roll, but we built This
We built that too.
exactly, 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 exactly. 100%. And the thing is this: they're afraid of this Western ingenuity hooking up with the man. You plugging power lines right into the resources. This is the reason why we have to understand this, my brothers and sisters. We have to understand this. This is why they have created the disconnect between the continent and us. It's the same reason why they're doing what they're doing on this continent in terms of black male and female love relationships, etc. And while they're doing that, they're pushing their swirl agenda. Anybody that's paying attention knows what I'm talking about. At the same time, they're pushing their swirl agenda. You have to understand the value of your melanin. And anybody that doesn't understand that, it has a financial value. It ain't just, oh, I'm black and I'm proud. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. You really got to get down to Margaret Singer, abortions, uh, stem cell. Stem cell. Why do you think Bill Clinton was so big on that? Now, look up this cat in Canada that's talking about the fountain of youth. You know where the fountain of youth comes through? The stem cell of the melanated individuals. I'm kind of going off course. I want to land my plane. We have so much value as melanated people, and then as the chosen people, because there's other melanated people, but we are the light of the world. And this is where we are being pushed into, and I'm happy. I'm excited about it because I'm recognizing the signs of the time and where we are. The Most High is pushing us into that light where we're supposed to be. That nation, accept your stance or fall with the rest. I'll land my plane there.
All right. I want to thank the panel for coming on, everybody who was here and those who have left.
Thank you for having us.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So I want to end this way. Everything you should do, you should seek the Most High first, right? But the way I am, I don't believe in being a hypocrite, okay? So if I'm going to make a move or plan to make a move, I'm going to let you know, because if I care for you, I want you to do well. I want you to make good decisions. I want you to know what's happening, right? So you don't have to do what I'm going to do. You have your own mind, and the Most High may lead you to do something else. But you must understand the signs. Now, if you look at our track record, we've been pretty accurate. I don't even know personally if there's going to be enough time for me to go prepare, because I couldn't do it in the past because I was ill, right? Now that I'm feeling better, I think I can go, to the continent. But based upon what I see as the signs of the times, I don't know if I'm going to have enough time for that, right? So that's how close things are. That's how serious it is. Some of y'all don't get the direness of the situation, how dire it is. You can't see it, right? Because if you could see it, you'd be getting ready to go, right? That's how bad it is. And just think what's going to happen to the people in Europe who don't have a lot of gas, right? Some of their electricity going to get shut down. Wait till they get cold. They're going to turn up that heat. They're going to use up that gas. They're going to use up the power they have, and then some of them going to start freezing. I'm just saying, some people in Europe might head to Africa before some of us in Africa. In Americas, right? Because everybody's situation different, but everybody's situation dire. And so some of us, because we still have gasoline in the cars and we still got food on the table, we're good now. I don't think we're going to be good in 2023. Right? Based upon what I see right now, I don't think we're going to be good in 2023. And the only reason they're keeping gas right now, they open up the reserves, is because election time. I guarantee you after November, watch the gas go higher, watch the food go higher. Because you do know that OPEC is going with Russia. OPEC is going with BRICS. OPEC not going with the U.S. So that means that oil-backed currency is going to
gone.
It's gone. See, a lot of y'all just don't see the big picture, right? Y'all don't see what's coming. And like I say, I'm not trying to scare you. I'm trying to help you prepare, right? So like I say, I don't even know if I'm going to have time to prepare, but this is what I'm going to do. I'm not going to be stupid enough to sit there. Like, for instance, right, I would see things like with crypto and stuff like that, or some other things, right? And I say, well, a better example, not crypto. A better example would be preparations, right, for preppers. I take my own advice because I'm like, if I don't take my own advice and I'm telling you to do something and I don't do it and I get caught in it, I deserve what I get. Because I didn't told you to prepare and I didn't prepare. So then I didn't believe what I said. So that's why I do what I say. Because I don't want to be stupid. I don't want to get caught up in the stuff that I warned you about, right? So understand this. Every decision you make is yours, right? And you don't have to listen to nobody but the Most High. You don't have to listen to nobody but the Most High. That's it. But I'm going to tell you this. If you knew the day that the thief would come, you would have prepared for him. You would have sealed your doors. You would have had your weapons, and you would have prepared. That's Bible. The thief is here. I think you want to say something fast, Nickel, and I'm going to shut it down.
Yeah, just on what Brother Don P said, I don't know, maybe 5 to 10 years ago, and you could probably look this up on YouTube, but PBS did a whole special on the value of the melanin, and they said that a 185-pound black man is worth about $1 million, his melanin.
Yeah,
All right,
it kind of makes you wonder why they shooting people in the Chicago.
And all the women disappearing.
Right, exactly.
Our people don't understand. You know, we're like children. You know, we're like sheep, and we're very trusting. That's not a bad thing to be trusting. You just got to know you living around a bunch of pedophiles and a bunch of Satan worshipers. Brother Don, you unmuted. You had something you want to say before I shut it down?
The nephew, man, y'all have been chiming. I don't know what to say, man. The nephew hit on the value of melanin, which there's plenty of our teachers that are teaching about that, and now we understand the disappearance of it. Just the whole state of affairs, nephew. Y'all do your job. I'm gonna tell you this though. I'm gonna tell you this. How your uncle's preparing. Liquid, I'm 90% in gold. Fiat capital, I'm only 10%. If and when the thing does, the headlong crash, I'm secure in 90% of my holdings on what the global standard is, which is gold. And I'm willing to help any of my people that want to convert their fiat capital into gold. No fees at all. just because, you know, the Most High gave me this gate and love. And so, like I said, 90% of my holdings sitting in my safe in gold. The other
How
10% is
do we
sitting
get
at
a hold
PI
of you, brother?
Capital. I'm gonna hook up with Yaakov and them and give an email. Okay.
All right, wonderful. Thanks.
Yep. Absolutely.
If you
Hey,
got
Absolutely.
the
Don
And
P.
time,
here's the other thing. Here's the other thing.
if you
Here's the
got
other
the
thing.
time, brother Don, you can type your email in the chat.
Oh, well, you know what? I'm gonna do it in the back. I'm gonna do it in the back.
Okay.
Let me do it in the back, and then they can get it. Because the thing about it is this. Um, this is a very personal exchange where no fees are going to be paid. Very, very personal, 30-year relationship. So I'm extending it to my family because y'all family. And when this stuff tanks, I've mentioned it before. Executive Order 140607 Part 4. That's going to jump off next year. That's digital currency for the central bank. So I love y'all. Yaakov. Let me jump in the back chat. I'm gonna jump off the what you call, but I'm gonna stay on so I can get in the back chat and put my email in there. But I love you guys, man. I love y'all, man.
Hey,
I love
Don
you.
P.
Hey, yes, sir.
Hey, how we gonna get the loot out of the country? That's what I want to know.
Yeah,
That's a good point.
that's part two. That's part two. That's part two. I'm working on that. I'm working. No, hey, nephew, you right there on the same page with me.
And I've been thinking the whole time because I got
How
a
the hell
little
do we get the fungible?
right.
How do we get the fungible? Because all of the metal is fungible. And if you understand fungibility from Bitcoin, then you understand the actual physical of what I got gold BBs. That's fungibility. I got gold BBs. So whatever the gram weight is on the BB, that's what we're going to trade at. You want to give me a half a pound of meat, 2 pounds of meat for this gold BB? That's where we're at.
Well, hopefully we'll be out of here before then. I just want to know when I go to
Most
the
high
airport.
willing.
I want to know when I
I
go to the
know. I'm
airport.
working on that. I'm working on
Okay.
that, nephew. I'm
Do I
working on
take
it because
do I
I
take
got to
the
get it
ship
out of
or
here
the
too.
airplane?
Bro, what I'm looking at is this. What I'm looking at is this. With my jewelers that I have a 30-year relationship with, they buy the gold from the people that sold it to me. They buy it only for mounting. Their whole things is gems. So in our relationship, when I was in Antwerp, Belgium, I stopped by their place that they had there. These people deal in gems. Metals is secondary for them. They make their monies off the gems. So these are my folks. They're like, we love you. They do a lot of repair and stuff like that for me with no value at all. They don't charge me nothing. But they're willing. Just like we've known you for over 30 years. We're not going to charge you no damn commission, but we're going to hook you up with our people that we buy from to create our mountings that we put our gems in. So I got a bunch of gold BBs, which I call fungible amounts, which is a whole lot better than those little bars or even the coin from Zanzibar that's 1795. How in the hell are you gonna break that up?
All right, y'all. Great talking to y'all. I gotta shut it down. It's getting late. Thanks for
Absolutely.
coming on panel. Thanks for the insight. And everybody, let's pray for direction from the Most High and take note of what's coming and what's happening. And you see winter approaching. Get your firewood, get your coats. You know what I'm saying? You make preparation for winter, right? So let's do that. And thank y'all again for coming on. And Mr. Tay, thank you for hopping on. Peace and blessings, Israel. Your captivity is ending, and I'm gonna try to see if I could get the Dry Bones family on here soon. All right.